and the kavod of hearing from the Rabbi Glatstein. I'm sure you all know tonight is the Azkara of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. Actually, I think there are two different opinions, and one of the opinions is that tonight is his Azkara. It's a big zechut that not only that Rabbi Glatstein is here, but that he's here on the Yahrtzeit of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. I can't tell you the nisim v'niflaot, the miracles that have happened to people that have prayed at his kever, that give tzedakah, the zchuto of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. It's brought down in the Zohar, it's brought down in many Sfarim. In lieu of that, we have the minhag, the Sfaradim have the minhag of lighting a ner, lighting a candle at the Azkara of tzaddik. And they say that people that not only light the candle, but who purchase that ner, lizuchut of the tzaddik, see also great nisim v'niflot. And how apropos is it that tonight is the 6th night of Chanukah. And if you do the gematria of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, it's 6 times 666. I'm kidding with you, that part is but we're going to now auction off the candle of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. If you ask where those proceeds are going to go to, it's going to Torah. It's going to be given to the Torah of Shaarei Emunah and also to the Torah of Rabbi Glatstein's programs that he does for the klal of Torah. So therefore, let us begin, and then we'll hear the beautiful words of Torah from Rabbi Glatstein. I have $500 for lighting of the candle tonight here in front of everyone of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. $500. Looking for $600. I have $600. $600 over here. Looking for $700. Looking for $800. Do I have $800? $800. $800. I have $700 over there. $800 in the back over there. Chazak Baruch for Rabbi Meir. Oh, $1,000. I'm sorry. $1,000. Chazak Baruch. I have $1,000 for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness and all the nisim and iflot that come with that.
Do you hire yourself out to other batik?
Absolutely. We can speak about that. I have $1,000 in the back over there. Looking for $1,100 for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, nisim and iflot on the 6th night of Chanukah. So I have $1,100. $1,100 for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. $1,000 for the Torah, for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, and for Chanukah. $1,000 for the candle of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness going once. $1,000 for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness of Chanukah going twice. $1,000 for the candle of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. Zachar. Mishiberach.
Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Hu yivarech et Gabriel ben Yosef, V'avur Shakadosh Baruch Hu Yashpia Alav Shefa Bracha V'Aslacha Chol Maaseh Yadav V'Yizkeh L'Torah L'Gdula L'Osher V'Osher Ad Biat Gol Tzedek V'Zchut HaTana Rabbi Meir Baal Haness V'Zchut Zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimal Rachamim Alav L'Shalach Lo Bracha V'Aslacha B'Chol Maaseh Yadav V'Nomar Amen.
Amen.
Not bad for Christmas.
Now we like
On the spot.
I'm gonna get you. You're you.
Imagine.
No.
100.
Make a wish, huh? Okay.
Say like this. Elaha. Meir. Aneni. Elaha. Meir. Aneni. Elaha. Meir. Aneni. Elaha. Meir. Aneni. Pleasure, my grandma advised people in the Holocaust.
Should he light it?
Now you light it.
That's it? Just light it?
Yeah. Okay.
Done?
You're good. Thank you. Just on this one. What?
You want me to clear the whole plate so one of the rest?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Any more meat?
Meir, we're on? Come. Good. I need somebody who looks chashuv. Someone who is chashuv. Come. Okay.
How much?
What percent do you get? Oh, how much does it cost you? Nothing. Okay, Rabotai, thank you very much for having me this evening. Tonight's learning, Shavilu Eloi Nishmat, Hananel ben Esther, Gan Eden Te Menuchata, also Menuchato, Hananel ben Esther, Gan Eden Te Menuchato. So who else? Who else sponsored? Dr. Michael Yakubov and family. Batzlach of his family and Klal Yisrael. Also, tonight's shir is dedicated by Mr. David Cohen, Le'iloi Nishmat. All the names that are mentioned on the flyer, you could take a look over there. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. For me personally, tonight is a very special evening. We know that the Ben Ish Chai writes, without giving any reason, Ben Ish Chai writes that tonight you should light a candle, Le'iloi Nishmas, Meir Baal Haness. Okay, I'm here all the time, so usually I speak B'Havara Sfardit. But tonight we're going to switch it up. It's okay, once in a while, because I have my Kehila here, and they're going to get jealous. They're going to think that... First, I want to thank Ronnie Benjamini and Rabbi Yaakov Mordechai and Rabbi Mitch, who Rabbi Moshe, and also Mordechai Aryeh. You know, we started our Kehila here in your backyard, in Mamish, in the parking lot. We started our shul on Rosh Hashanah about a year and a half ago, and you were machnes oreach to us on our Kehila at a time of our need, and we've remained close ever since. We're across the street, so we're like, brother and sister Kehilot. So we're all one Kehila, especially this evening. And I thank Ronnie for all of his help and continuous assistance in helping our Kehila flourish. And it's really a very big honor for me to have any association with Achenu, Beis Yisrael here in this wonderful Kehila. As you know, anybody who knows me knows that the Sifrei of the Sfaradim are very, very dear to my heart. Tonight you're going to have a little bit of an insight, even more than perhaps in the past. Ben Ish Chai writes that on Rosh Chodesh Teves, we should light a ner le'iloi nishmas Meir Baal Haness. This is codified by Kaf HaChaim. No reason is given. The Ben Ish Chai doesn't say why to light a candle le'iloi nishmas Meir. What does Meir Baal Haness have to do with Chanukah? He doesn't say, he just says light the candle. Reb Chaim Falaji in the Sefer Moed L'Chol Chai quotes his son, Reb Avram Falaji. I had the zchus to be at Reb Avram Falaji's kever. Now, I also want to thank my dear friend, Reb Moshe Aaron Morgenstern, all the way from Borough Park. And we go back probably even generations, because we have a lot of deep kisharim. And I have to say, as I was studying the works about Reb Meir Baal Haness, I discovered a number of piyutim about Reb Meir. So I called Reb Moshe a few times over the years if he could compose a nigun for the piyutim on Reb Meir. Now these are nigunim written by Reb Masud Abichatzera and Reb Yisrael Abichatzera the Baba Sali, and Reb Moshe composed original nigunim that we're going to sing tonight soon after the Divrei Torah. So you're in for a very special treat, and we thank Reb Moshe and his son Reb Yossi for coming all the way from Borough Park. But I want to share with you a question of the Chida. This is a wondrous question, and you're going to see this question brings tremendous miracles. Everybody asks the following question on Chanukah. This is probably the most famous question in all of Jewish literature. Question is, why is Chanukah 8 days? It should be 7 days. After all, they found the flask of oil. There was enough oil to last for 1 day. It miraculously lasted for 8 days. That means there were only 7 days of a miracle. So why would we celebrate 8 days when the miracle is only 7 days? Whose question is this? The Beis Yosef's question. So I always say over, when I was a kid, they had a sefer with 100 answers to this question. Ner Lameya. Now they have a sefer with 500 answers to the Bet Yosef's question. That's the question of the Beis Yosef. But I'm here tonight to ask a totally different question. The question of Maran Gaon Uzeinu, the Chida, Reb Chaim, Yosef, David Azulai. The Chida wants to know, Chanukah should be 9 days. Let's take a vote. Yeah? Who thinks Chanukah should be 9 days? Why should Chanukah be 9 days? Chida says very simply, Sveika d'Yoma, Sveika d'Yoma. We don't have 7 days of Pesach, we have 8 days, Sveika d'Yoma. We don't have 8 days of Sukkot, we have 9 days, Sveika d'Yoma. We have 2 days of Shavuos. So why don't we have 9 days of Chanukah? That's the question of the Chida. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you can't have Sveika d'Yoma on a D'Rabbanan because Safek D'Rabbanan L'Kula. Not true. The Mordechai asks, why don't we have 2 days of Purim? And the Mordechai says, because it says V'lo Yavar, which means you can't go past the 14th and the 15th. But by Chanukah, there's no such restriction. Asks the Chida, there should be 9 days of Chanukah. That's the question of the Chida in the Sefer Rosh David. Okay? And I'm going to share with you something tonight. You're not going to know what to do with yourself. Okay? Be'emet. The Yevanim wanted to be mevatel 3 mitzvahs. What are the 3 mitzvahs? Chodesh, Mila, Shabbat. Actually, we have 2 sources in the Tar Shabbat Peh what the Yevanim tried to abolish. In Megillas Haness, it says that the Yevanim tried to abolish Chodesh, Mila, and Shabbos. But if you look in the Medrash says something else entirely. The Medrash says that on Chanukah, the Yevanim made a gezeirah, Kisvu lachem al keren hashar, ein lachem chelek v'lekei Yisrael. Right on the horn of an ox, you have no share in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the question is, ask the Chida, it's a stira. It's a stira, yeah? What was it? What did the Yevanim try to do? Did they try to abolish Chodesh, Mila, and Shabbos? Or did they make us ride on the horn of an ox? Ein lachem chelek v'lekei Yisrael. Which one was it? And why on the horn of an ox? What do they have with an ox? Why the horn of an ox? We all know that Rav Meir's famous tefillah is Elaka de Meir Anini. By the way, Rav Shamshin of Ashtapol, you ever hear Rav Shamshin of Ashtapol, one of the great old-time Mekubalim, he's Megala that in the month of Teves, there are forces of impurity. In Munkach, by the Chasidus of Munkach, they're very scared of Teves. The Munkacher Rebbe was very frightened of Teves. All the Gezerot were always in Teves. The Munkacher Rebbe was not relaxed until Teves was over. All the Klipot are in the month of Teves. Esav owns the month of Teves, Rav Shamshin Shapoli says. That's why Yom Edam, Xmas, is in the month of Teves. What happens in Teves? There are forces of impurity. What are these forces of impurity called? Dogs. Kilavim. How many dogs? He brings Al Pi Kabbalah either 944 dogs or 1,304 dogs. You could count them. Seriously. Go up to the Shamayim, and if you want to count the forces of impurity in the month of Teves, it's either 944 or 1,304. So where do these numbers come from? I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. We know Rabbi Meir has a special tefillah, Elaka de Meir Anini. Where does this come from? The Gemara says that Rabbi Meir's sister-in-law was captured, she was held hostage, she was put in a Beit Zonot, a brothel. And he went to rescue her. And he tells the jail warden, no, get her out, I need to get out my sister-in-law. The jail warden said, no, I'm very scared to get out my sister-in-law. So Rabbi Meir said, no problem, if anybody attacks you, just say, Elaka de Meir Anini. So the guy says, well, are you making this up? Who says it does anything? Rabbi Meir says, watch. Rabbi Meir incites dogs. They start to attack. Rabbi Meir says, Elaka de Meir Anini, and the dogs drop dead. So we see Elaka de Meir Anini works specifically against dogs. Yeah? Says Rav Shamshin Ashtapoli The gematria of Elakah de Meir Aneni, Elakah de Meir Aneni, is 944. Keneged, the spiritual dogs of impurity of Tevet. And according to the opinion that it's 1304, Elakah de Meir Aneni Aneni, Elakah de Meir Aneni Aneni is gematria 1304. Okay? So you shouldn't have any problems with dogs. If you ever have problems with dogs, Elakah de Meir Aneni, Elakah de Meir Aneni. Fine. But the Marsha asks a very simple question. God does not associate His name with the living. Yeah? It's Elokei Avraham only when Avraham is not alive anymore. If Avraham is alive, God says, I can't associate with the living. Does anybody know why doesn't God associate with the living? Because anybody could go off at any time. Even a tzaddik. Nobody should ever be surprised if they hear that somebody did not remain on the straight and the narrow. Even Yochanan Kohen Gadol, the author of Al Hanisim, Bimei Matisyahu ben Yochanan. You know, there are 124 words in Al Hanisim, Gematria Yochanan. He wrote it. According to many, even he went off, according to Kloisenberger Rebbe and Tshuva. Him, Yochanan Kohen Gadol. He didn't stay on the straight and. So God says, until a person is buried, I can't associate with the living. So asks the Marsha, how could Rav Meir say, Elakah de Meir Aneni, he's alive, how could he say God is the God of Meir? Well, how could Rav Meir say such a tefillah? God does not associate with the living. Answers the Marsha, this is the basic, you must know this Marsha. Elakah de Meir Aneni does not mean the God of Meir answer me. Elakah de Meir Aneni means, this is what Rav Meir would think, the God that illuminated our lives in the times of Chanukah, Hu Ya'aneni. Elakah, the God, de Meir, that He illuminated for the Jewish people in the times of Chanukah, Hu Ya'anenu, He should answer us. Elakah, not de Meir, the guy, the person Meir. Elakah, de Meir, the God who illuminated, Hu Ya'anen. That's the Marsha. Okay. Comes the Chida. And the Chida says, why did the Yevanim want to be Mevatel, Chodesh, Milah, Shabbat? Thank you. Why did Rav Meir want to be Mevatel? Why did the Yevanim want to be Mevatel, Chodesh, Milah, Shabbat? Says the Chida, you know what the most important principle in the whole Torah is? The most important principle. Now, I love this principle so much. In the Hebrew Sefer, on the inside, I put it on the inside. These are the words of the Chida. Haloi zeh hadavar. This is the matter. Ki kvar noida. It is known. Asher pinas yikras yisoid musad la'adas Yisrael. The cornerstone principle of the Torah. Miyoim yatsa mimitzrayim v'yadhena. From the day we left Egypt until now. Heyois Yisrael b'nei kelchai. That we're the children of Hashem. If somebody were to ask you, what is the central principle of the Torah? That we are the beloved children of Hashem. Only Am Yisrael, not the nations of the world. What proof is there that we're the children of Hashem? Says the Chida, 3 proofs. Number 1, Rosh Chodesh. If the Bezdin declares today is Rosh Chodesh, and the heavens say, what are you talking about? You're making a mistake. Tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. The heavens defer to the earthly court. Why? God loves us so much. We're His children. He defers to us. That's one proof. Proof number 2. Who rests on Shabbat? God. God rests on Shabbat. Shabbat is God's special object. It's like His scepter. Is a regular citizen allowed to pick up the scepter of the king? No. If a regular citizen picks up the scepter of the king, they're chayiv misa, chayiv mita. So how are the Jewish people allowed to keep Shabbat? It's because we're banim lamakom. The child of the king is allowed to pick up the scepter of the king. Nobody else. Says the Chida, Bris Milah proves we're banim lamakom. Chodesh, Milah, Shabbat prove we're the children of Hashem. You know who was mechadesh that? You know how important it is that we're the children of Hashem? Trivia question. Does anybody know how many years we're going to auction this off? You could, and if you bought it, you get a deduction on the candle. You save $3. Okay. Anybody know how long we were supposed to be in Egypt? 430. God said 430. 430 years. Does anybody know how long did we actually work in Egypt? So we were physically there 210. How many years was the intense bondage? 86 years. 1/5 of 430. How could we get out so early then? How did we do that? Chida says, because we're banim lamakom, God had rachamim on us. He said, you worked overtime, you worked very intensely, the work was very intense, so I'll consider the excessive labor to get you out early. Now, would any master ever make a cheshbon and say, well, you worked extra hard, I'll let you out early? No master would do that. Only a father would do that to his children. The only reason we got out of Egypt early is because we're the children of Hashem. So Yosef HaTzadik comes down to Mitzrayim this week's parsha. What does Yosef say? V'chimesh es eretz Mitzrayim. Chimesh, Chodesh, Milah, Shabbat. Because Yosef says, if you don't keep Chodesh, Milah, and Shabbat, you'll never get out of here. So I have to establish you have the status of Banim Lamakom, and then you'll be able to leave. Now listen carefully. The Yevanim did not want us to be Banim Lamakom. Therefore they made us ride on the horn of an ox. Ein lachem chelek belekei Yisrael. Does anybody know what it means? What does it mean we're the children of Hashem? What does it mean we're the children of Hashem? Could God... HaKadosh Baruch Hu ani ma'amin be'emunah shalema shehaborei yitbarach shemo eino guf v'lo yasigehu masigei haguf. God is not physical. How could we say that we're the children of Hashem? The answer is, our neshama, the soul of a Jew, is literally a piece of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're a chelek of Hashem. What the Yevanim wanted was that we should not feel that we're children of Hashem. Kisvu al keren ashar. Ein lachem chelek b'lekei Yisrael. Do not feel like you're a child of Hashem. The way they went about doing that is they were mevatel chodesh, milah, Shabbat. Okay, you ready for this? By the miracle of Chanukah, which 3 mitzvos did we get back? Chodesh, milah, Shabbat. Says the Bnei Yissaschar, that is why, if you look in the Al Hanisim, the focus in Al Hanisim is V'achar kein ba'u banecha. What do you mean banecha? The beginning of Al Hanisim says B'mei Matasio ben Yochanan Kohen Gadol K'sha'amda Malchus al Amcha Yisrael. Why all of a sudden do we become al banecha? Because the whole purpose of the miracle of Chanukah is to restore Chodesh, Milah, Shabbos, and demonstrate we're banim lamakom. So therefore we say in Al Hanisim V'achar kein ba'u banecha. Now, why do you think Rabbi Meir, if he's talking about Chanukah, right? Elokad Meir Aneni doesn't mean the God of Rabbi Meir. Elokad Meir Aneni means the God who performed the miracle of Chanukah. So why is Rabbi Meir the only rabbi who's saying Elokad Meir Aneni? Why didn't Rabbi Gamliel say Elokad Meir Aneni? Why didn't Rabbi Tarfon say Elokad Meir Aneni? Why didn't any other Tana say Elokad Meir Aneni? Does anybody know the chidush of Rabbi Meir? There's a big machloket. What is our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Now my kids, I'm going to stand up a little bit, yeah? So, my kids always behave, no matter what. I could take them shopping for hours, no matter what. They always are compliant. And it's not because of me, it's because my wife knows what she's doing. But some people tell me that when they take their children shopping, they don't always behave, which is a very big mistake. Never take your children shopping. It's a very big mistake. Now, I always thought I have a very good technique. I have a very good trick. If you take your kids shopping and they don't behave, and somebody asks, who are these kids? You should say, I have no idea. Their mother asked me to watch them for the day, right? That would be, but you can't do that. Your kids are your kids are your kids. But did you know that Rabbi Yehuda holds that we're not always the children of Hashem? Rabbi Yehuda holds when we do mitzvot, when we learn Torah, Kisha osin ritzono shel makom, then we're the children of Hashem. Kisha ein osin ritzono shel makom, we're not the children of Hashem. We're avadim. What is Rabbi Meir's shita? Ben kach ubein kach nikraim banim. No matter what, we're always the beloved children of Hashem. Which Yom Tov demonstrates we're always the beloved children of Hashem? Chanukah. So that's why Rabbi Meir would always invoke Elakah, de Meir, Aneni, the God who illuminated our lives through Chanukah, and he demonstrated we're the beloved children of Hashem. Please answer us. Okay, now I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I want to share with you something that I haven't really fleshed out in public yet, but because I love this Kehillah so much, you're going to be the first to actually see this inside. You're not going to believe this. Here, please give this out. Okay. I'm going to tell you a little story. Many of you know that during the course of the year, I sometimes speak on trips, Jewish history trips. We went to many different locations, many Kivrei Tzadikim. Bezrat Hashem, we hope, President's Day, maybe you'll join us. February 21st, you ready for this? You should all come. We're going to visit Abarbanel, Zera Shimshon, Reb Moshe David Valley, Rabbi Yehuda Arya Modina, Rama Mipano, Reb Moshe Zakuto, Italy. Okay? Italy. Now, I want to tell you a little story. So I have a friend who joined me on one of the trips. He came with us to France. He came with us to Morocco. And right after we went to France and Morocco, he was zocheh to meshadech his daughter with a very chashuv young man, a French Moroccan. Hear this? He goes to France, he goes to Morocco, and his joke was, it's a good thing that she got married before we went to Alaska. Okay? Now, we're very good friends. And the Chatan has a friend. You ready for this? His name is Yisrael Mizrahi. Yisrael Mizrahi is one of the big Sfarim dealers in the world. And he came over to me at the Chasana. He said, Rabbi Glatstein, what can I get you? So I'm not really a collector. So I told him, what could you get me? You could get me the Chida. I want the Chida signature. That's like saying, what could you get me? Take me to the moon. You know that? I'm not a collector. That's not in my league. I said, get me the Chida signature. Why do I want the Chida signature? First of all, I love the Chida. After the Holocaust, my grandfather published the first Sfarim for the survivors. The first sefer he published for the survivors was the Lev David of the Chida. When I was giving Shiurim in Queens, my Chabura in the Young Israel, they presented me with Kol Sifrei Chida. I could not stay away from the Chida. In fact, one time I went to Eretz Yisrael, and I needed a minyan for Mincha. President Trump came to Israel that day. All the roads to Jerusalem were closed. And I need a minyan for Mincha. I'm coming from the airport. I need a minyan for Mincha. There's nowhere to go. All the roads were closed. There's only one road that's open. Har Menuchot. Where am I going to get a minyan for Mincha? I'm looking at the Chida's kever. The Chida brought President Trump to Israel just so I could visit him. Okay? So I told Yisrael Mizrahi I would like the signature of the Chida. Now the Chida has a very special signature. He signs his name in the shape of a boat. Because Rabbi Avram Azulai, his great-great-grandfather, was saved from a boat. He writes about this in the Shem HaGdolim. So I tell Yisrael Mizrahi, get me the Chida. Now, in the past, I've seen signatures of the Chida before. But I know it wasn't perfect, and it's a very big purchase, and there's no way I could justify purchasing the signature of the Chida unless it's immaculate. I want the whole boat with the mast, everything. Yisrael Mizrahi tells me, I was hoping, he would say, it's an okay signature, it's not a perfect signature, so I would have an excuse not to get it. He tells me this is the most beautiful signature of the Chida you've ever seen. I said, show me. He shows me, it's leather-bound sefer, beautiful signature. Not only that, 2 signatures of the Chida. Not only that, inside, they're Chidushim, published in the Chida's handwriting. The Chida owned the Sefer Orchos Chaim of one of the Rishonim. He signed his name twice, and on the inside he wrote biographical information about the Orchos Chaim in his own handwriting. I asked him how much. I said, I'm sorry, I can't, you know. But I have a good friend, and he found out that I was interested, and Yisrael Mizrahi called me back. He said there's a new price, and I couldn't refuse it, and I have it.
Wow.
And I made a copy for you. You're holding it. No. Okay, I didn't bring it in. This is a Sefer Orchos Chaim, but the story is only beginning. This is a Sefer Orchos Chaim. Orchos Chaim was one of the Rishonim, Rav Aaron of Lunel, France. The first signature of the Chida, you see the word Chaim, under it is Yosef, David, Azulai, Samachtes. You know what Samachtes stands for? Sfardi Tahar. Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. It's real Sfardi. By the way, what does real Sfardi mean? That they didn't convert, from a family that didn't convert in the time of the Inquisition. Okay? Then on the left side, the top signature in the boat is the Chida. The next two signatures were Sephardic rabbis who we know bought the Chida's library. The bottom left is a rabbi from Gibraltar who bought the library of the rabbi who bought the Chida's library. And I said, prove it to me. How do I know this is the Chida? So I have a letter. Rabbi Yaakov Hillel's son verified that this in fact is the Chida's signature. But this is only the beginning of the story. Can I have one of the books? One of the books?
This book?
Yeah. So this past Shabbos I was in Chicago. Yeah, I'll give it back to you, don't worry. This past Shabbos I was in Chicago. I was preparing to give this shir. And I'm opening up. Ask the Chida, why is Chanukah 8 days? It should be 9. Says the Chida, since the Yevanim wanted to be Mevatel, Chodesh, Mila, and Shabbat, every Chanukah has a Shabbos. So we remember the Shabbos. Every Chanukah has Rosh Chodesh. But not every Chanukah has Milah. So says the Chida, Chanukah is only 8 days as a remez to Milah. This way every Chanukah we remember Chodesh, Milah, Shabbat. And by the way, it comes out, Ashkenazim do something very interesting on Chanukah. Do you know that by our Kriyas HaTorah, we read, let's say tomorrow is the 6th day, we read Kohen Levi the 6th day, Yisrael the 7th day. Why? There's no Sveika Diyoma, but according to the Chida, it's beautiful. There is Sveika Diyoma. It's just we can't go to the 9th day. But every day there is a Safek. It comes out amazing according to the Chida. And we know Chanukah is the only time that Ashkenazim follow the Sfardi poskim. So we follow the Chida, and we do. And the Sfardim follow Tosfos, and only one person lights. So on Chanukah we follow the Chida. Now, get a load of this. I'm preparing the shir in the book that just came out, and I'm reading, where did the Chida see this Chidush, that Chanukah is only 8 days as a remez to Milah? He saw it in the Sefer Orchos Chaim, and I could not believe it. The Rebbeinu Shalom sent me the very volume that the Chida himself used and saw this Chidush and wrote it in the Sefer Rosh David. Hashem sent me the Chida Sefer with his signature, Mamish Matana Min Hashemayim. So if you look, I photocopied where the Orchos Chaim says it in the Sefer that I have. It was owned by the Chida. If you look over here, V'habal ha'itim kasav tamacher lama shmayna yamim lefi shabatlu mehem. It's over here. Mitzvah smila shehu l'shmayna lefikach kavu shmayna yamim. So this, I considered it a very, very special gift, and that's why Reb Meir specifically always said the tefillah of Elakad Meir Aneni, because Reb Meir, we know his worldview was always to focus on the fact Benkach ubenkach nikra banim. So even though it's said the Ben Ish Chai doesn't tell us why we light a candle for Rabbi Meir on Chanukah, and Rabbi Chaim Falaji doesn't tell us the reason, it is suggested, friends, that the real reason we light a candle for Rabbi Meir on Chanukah is because the true Yahrtzeit of Rabbi Meir is tonight, Rosh Chodesh Teves. On Chanukah, the Yom Tif that demonstrates that we're always Banim Lamakom, Chodesh. So what better day than Rosh Chodesh on Chanukah, but by the way, Rosh Chodesh could sometimes also be Shabbos. What better day to be Meir's Yahrtzeit than the Yom Tif that demonstrates Rabbanim Lamakom, on Rosh Chodesh that demonstrates Rabbanim Lamakom, and this is really a very special hashgacha. And the reason, by the way, that the Sfarim don't say that Meir's Yahrtzeit is today, because many traditionally observe it on Pesach Sheni. However, the Sdei Chemed says there is no makar that his Yahrtzeit is Pesach Sheni. The reason they kept Pesach Sheni is because Jews were up there in the Galilee for Lag BaOmer, and they wanted to pump money into the economy in Tiberia, nearby Lag BaOmer, and they didn't want to do it on a day that you usually say Tachnun, because they were afraid that by visiting Meir they would not say Tachnun. So they picked a day near Lag BaOmer that you don't say Tachnun anyway, but there's no basis that is his Yahrtzeit. But it is suggested, in fact, that tonight is the Yahrtzeit of Meir Baal Haness. So we hope in the zchus of our getting together this evening, Elakad Meir Aneni, Rebbe Shem should answer all of our tefillos, should be mavarich all of us with good health, hatzlacha, bracha, banim uvnei banim, oskim atar v'mitzvot, zivugim tovim, v'malei Hashem kol mishal seinu l'tova. Okay, now I want to